Hello, I'm the Doctor.
Hey Who fans, welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. This is Gary.
My name's Adam.
And this is episode 29. Hope everybody has had a smashing week. How have you been, buddy?
Yes, good. Yourself?
I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah. What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? I've been up to some more reading.
Oh yeah, you intellect.
You might, as you know from last week, I ordered a whole batch of Doctor Who comics to catch up on, and I've read a couple of them. I haven't had time to go through the whole lot, but really liking that story. It's pretty good. And
there's quite a few coming out now, isn't there? Those time comics. With now they've got the 10th, 11th, 12th, and now the 9th is coming out soon. There's quite a bit of reading material on its way from those guys, isn't there?
There is indeed. Yeah,
it's hard to find the time to read it all.
Yeah, and I've still got to finish the book that I started. Seems like forever now. The Eccleston book, Only Human.
Oh yeah, are you still reading that? Are you?
But yeah, still going through it.
Oh right.
Yeah, normally I can get through books reasonably quick if I read every evening and stuff. But yeah, just this one seems to be taking a while. So lots of reading.
Well, you're a busy chap.
Busy chap, yeah. What about you, mate? You're up to anything?
It's funny actually talking about books because I haven't really been doing much. I've been, eating loads, drinking loads, and spending loads as usual. But I've just ordered a couple of books because there's some new ones come out. I've forgotten what they're called. The
history collection.
The history collection. That's it. Yeah, the history collection, and they've got really cool covers and. I thought they'd done ones for every Doctor, but they haven't. There's a couple missing, but I'm guessing some more will be coming out. But I've just ordered a couple of those. There's a couple available to order signed from a certain shop with the initials FP. So I've just gone for those signed ones at the minute, and then I'll probably get the rest later. But they look very good. They look really good. Yeah,
they do look good, and we've got. That's the thing that, for some reason, I'm quite weird when it comes to books. There are times when I don't even really look at the content or the story. I just go for sometimes the cover that is enough for me.
I'm the same actually. Yeah, I am the same.
Maybe because I'm like, that'll look really cool on the shelf, but I don't know. But the covers for these ones, they look really good, don't they? It's like it's almost like a muted black and white with a coloured background, and yeah, they look really cool.
No, they do. And I know what you mean about the covers. I mean, I remember walking past this Oxfam bookshop, and they had loads of the, not the Virgin books. What were they? I've forgotten the name. These loads of Doctor Who books, basically.
Okay.
And of course, I wanted to buy them all because they had like almost 2 shelves of them. Someone had obviously cleared out their collection, and and I was just like, I had to sort of cherry pick some. And it was quite hard, obviously, because I was like, I just want to throw them all in the basket. But I did it by which had the best cover at the end, because I had no ideas which one were good and bad, which ones were recommended or rare or anything like that. So I was like, right, that's got a really good cover. That one's got a really good cover. So I did it like that. So I'm the same.
Yeah, and those books, some of them have got really cool titles, and then one of them just made me laugh loads.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them, like The English Way of Death, which is the Tom Baker one. You've got Dead of Winter, the Matt Smith one, The Witch Hunters for the Hartnell books. They're all quite sinister and quite serious. And then you've got the Troughton one, which is called The Roundheads.
Oh, right.
So I thought, and that's a Mark Gatiss one, is it? Yeah.
Oh, is it? I was just going to ask you actually who had written them, because I think is Paul Cornell. Has he written one?
Yeah, he's written the Human Nature, the McCoy.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yes, that's right. Yeah. They did a signing on Saturday actually in Forbidden Planet. I would have loved to have gone to it in central London because I think Paul Cornell was there.
He was.
Yeah, but I couldn't make it sadly. But he's quite a nice chap, and I quite like his. Sometimes he comes in for a bit of stick, but I don't know. I think he's written some good stuff for Who over the years. Yeah, he did the Scream of the Shelker. I don't know if you've ever watched that animation one that they did.
Oh, is that with what's his name?
Richard E. Grant.
Yeah. No, is that any good?
Well, it's okay. Yeah, I mean the style of it and everything is a bit, but it's worth a watch. And actually, there's on the DVD, because I think you can get it quite cheap. Actually, there's a great documentary on the DVD about it, because it kind of came about because Oh, I think there was an anniversary coming up. Gosh, I should know this. But yeah, I mean, basically nothing was happening, so they decided, some big fans of the show said, "Well, we've got to do something for Doctor Who," and I think that's how it came about. So yeah, it's worth a watch.
Okay, it sounds good. It's one that I'm quite looking forward to, only because I'm really into his writing for the TV show of late. It's the Gareth Roberts one, The Fourth Doctor, The English Way of Death.
Yeah.
Definitely going to get that one. I'll get them all eventually, but I'll probably get that one and the Witch Hunters, the first one, to begin with. Yeah.
Get the Roundheads just so you can,
so
you can have it in your collection. Yeah. When is Gareth Roberts being announced as the new showrunner? Do we know?
We're not sure yet. Hopefully
I
soon.
like Gareth actually. It's really odd. I was listening to, dare I say it, I was listening to another podcast yesterday. Obviously after I've listened to ours, obviously, and they were talking about Gareth Roberts, and I was thinking how much I enjoyed The Caretaker. And the style of it and how he actually wrote the Doctor, and it was particularly that bit that stuck in my head actually, because I was thinking, the way he was written in that episode was quite good, because I think he did vary actually over the episodes. Each writer sort of wrote him differently, and for me, Jamie Matheson wrote him the best in my mind.
Yeah.
Whereas I think in a way Moffat sort of when I think about the final stuff, I think Moffat didn't particularly write him as the best, in terms of the sort of like the softness. And in The Caretaker, I think Gareth Roberts found a really nice, playful side to the 12th Doctor, which I think is good. So, I think even though perhaps his stories, I do like them, but then maybe they don't always rate as my favourite. So I think Gareth is not bad actually. I think he's got a style, and I quite like it. So
yeah, I really enjoy his writing. It's quite cool. And The Caretaker was awesome. I really enjoyed that.
I did. I remember I was listening to it back thinking I did really enjoy this episode, and I've got quite a few of Gareth's books as well. And I'm a little bit sad that he's not that he's backed out of writing City of Death, because I would have thought he'd be perfect to do that, because he did Sharda, which he did a very good job with. And I would have thought he would have... I don't know the reasons for him dropping out of writing the City of Death novel, but actually I've just realised you haven't seen that yet, have you?
Not yet. Nope.
Oh, you're in for a treat. And when you watch it, because it's Douglas Adams and the humour, you'll see what I mean. If you think about Gareth Roberts sort of re-novelising that story, I think it's like a match made in heaven. So it's a bit of a shame that he's dropped out doing it, really. Okay. But I'm sure he has his reasons. Yeah,
because he's a good writer. Yeah,
he is good.
Yeah. So I don't think we've been up to much. Have you spent any more money this week?
I daren't say, just in case the partner happens to listen to the podcast, but that is clearly a yes.
You're going to need to get an extension done for your house and have your own little museum, your own little display room.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm actually just sat looking at a really untidy mess of boxes of things at the minute, because I do tend to keep a lot of the boxes, which is another thing that drives a partner mad. It's like, unbox them, get them out. And I think, no, there are certain things that I unbox, and then there are sort of special collectibles that I just keep boxed because they look great. But I'm looking at them now, and it's one day I just won't even be able to get out of the house.
One day,
and it went one day
back.
soon. Yeah, I'll be phoning into work saying one day I should come back to work, but not today because I can't get out of the house.
I love how he delivers that line, by the way. I know it's a classic line, but he's got his thumbs on his kind of lapels. Yeah, very cool.
It's amazing, isn't it, how Peter Capaldi cemented himself within seconds just by doing when he was announced as the Doctor.
Oh yeah,
just by coming out and doing that, immediately cemented himself in the fans' hearts, didn't he?
Yeah,
it's like, oh wow, he's doing
the lapel.
He knows
thing.
what he's doing. Yeah,
that's cool.
Cool. So do you want to land it?
Shall we land it?
Yeah, go on then.
Landing initiated.
Very nice.
Complete. Done.
That's it. Yeah. So what have we got in the news today?
In the news today, what's that from?
In the news today?
Yeah, I've heard that somewhere. In the news today.
The 9 o'clock news? I don't know.
Anyways, some new comic stuff from Titan Comics.
More comics. Yeah, I know. We were just saying, weren't we, that there's loads of comics and now there's even more comics coming out. What's different about these ones then?
Right, well, I'm going to tell you the difference There's no difference in respect that if you've anyone that's followed the recent Titan comics that came out, when was it? At some point last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So they've split the comic runs into each Doctor. So you've got a run for the 10th, the 11th, and then they release shortly after that the 12th. And as we know, in March this year, there's going to be a short run for the 9th. But they've made an announcement to say that there's going to be a new comic, which is going to feature 10, 11 and 12 in the same comic. And that's it. So it looks like because it doesn't look like it's going to be a bigger issue or anything like that. It's still a single issue comic. But it looks like it's just got 3 short stories about each Doctor.
Oh, I'm with you. Okay, yeah, because I assumed it meant they were like, I don't know, all in the same adventure. It's like the 3 Doctors, or I couldn't quite work it out. I see now, right? Yeah, that makes sense. That's quite good.
Yeah, so there's the 3 Doctors on the front, and underneath the 10th Doctor it says "New Companion!" ! Underneath the 11th it says "New Beginnings," and then underneath the 12th Doctor, who's the feature character, it says "Feeling the Heat." So, and it's also this one seems a bit more editorial, a bit more magazine-y to me, because they've got, as well as the 3 stories about each Doctor throughout the comic, it's also got like a really big cheesy issue 1 thing on the front, and it's got like a little there's like a little Titan figure competition with Win. This one looks a bit more. I guess they're aiming it for not the mainstream comic collectors who would buy a copy of each of the Doctor's comics. This looks more like for a younger audience who can't really afford to buy, 3 lots of comics every single month. So they can just buy one, and it's got some shorter stories and stuff like that. So it looks very cool. It just looks like it's just like the wording on the front as well. It seems a lot more kind of kiddie-like and.
I was thinking that, the whole style, I mean, just going by the cover, the whole style of it looks a little bit more aimed at kids. Because I think the Titans ones we were talking about earlier, I think they've got a good balance, I think, in those. I think they can appeal to sort of adults as well as a sort of younger audience, I think, in their style and the writing and everything. This one, just looking at the cover, it does look like it's aimed at a younger range.
Yeah.
But I'll still be buying it.
It reminded me of the Doctor Who magazine that comes out for youngsters. Is it called the Doctor Who Adventures?
Yes, I was thinking of that.
It reminds me of that, like the green graphics and the style of the text and all that sort of stuff. So, this is quite cool. Are you going to get this one?
Yeah, I'll definitely pick up the first couple just to see what it's like. And a lot of people have been talking about the 12th Doctor Sonic on the front cover. Saying, "Oh, is this a spoiler?" Because it looks like it's a slightly different colour. They were saying, "Oh, is he going to have a different Sonic in the new series?" Or is it just the artwork? It looked to me, it looks pretty much the same. I think it just looks more silver. But there's been a little bit of excitement in fandom about it. What do you think? It's the same, isn't it?
It looks the same silver to me. Just looks silver. Yeah, look, the shape and everything looks as it does from Matt Smith's one, and it just looks like a bit more of a subtle colour. It's not got any brown or green or white or anything. It's just
actually, that could work for me. Actually, if they did that in the series, if we had the same Sonic but it was just silver, like Tom Baker's Sonic was just silver, that'd just be a nice little variant to it, just to make it his own. I wouldn't mind if they did do that. Capaldi actually said that he was a bit disappointed he wanted his own Sonic, but budget restrictions didn't allow it, didn't he? Actually did come out and say that.
That's right, yeah, he wanted his own one. But I've also got a theory, actually, just as we're talking about this comic. They've targeted this comic specifically for the UK. This is a BBC Worldwide and Titan comic launch, and they do reference it quite a few times, the UK, and it makes me think that they're kind of making up for the physical publishing deal that they didn't manage to get in place for the UK for the other comics, because those single issue comics, technically you're still not supposed to be able to buy them in a physical form in the UK.
That's right. Yeah, I totally forgotten about that because like you said, I think there's only one retailer that you can really officially buy them from. Am I right? In the UK?
Yeah.
Sort
well,
of,
to begin
yeah.
with, but quite a few comic shops do them now because I think they just import them and then sell them on.
That's right.
Which
but
is,
they're not
yeah.
sort of officially for the UK market, are they? And I'd forgotten about that. And it does seem odd, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, which is probably why they're doing this as like a, I'm sure they're not naive to think that, comic book fans haven't been able to get them, but maybe this is just a step towards, appeasing the people who do things officially, I guess.
Yeah, I think, possibly. Well, you'll be getting a couple, will you, just to see what the thing is. You've got kids, so you can always say, I'm just getting them for the kids.
Well, I'd get this first one anyway.
Yeah.
Just see what it's like, and then, I'm sure I'll get the first few, see how we go.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So, Titan Comics, and that's out on the 26th of Feb.
That's right. I was going to say it's quite soon, isn't it? Yeah, in a couple of weeks, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be able to order them from wherever.
I was just thinking that. I was thinking, because the first issue of stuff often sells out quick, and it always annoys me when things are hard to get. But hopefully this will be in your news agents. Otherwise, I guess places will be selling it online. I just hate it when people sell them for stupid money. Do you know what I mean? Like you miss the first issue, so you go online to get it, and it's like $19.99 or something. You're like, oh, come on.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully that won't happen.
Actually, it does say that it's going to be available in supermarkets, WH Smith, and newsagents.
Well, we should be safe.
So this looks more like this does look more like a magazine rather than a typical comic to me.
I've got a feeling it's going to be a cross between this and, like you said, the Doctor Who Adventures. It's going to be like that, isn't it?
Yeah, $3.99.
Yeah. Well, when it comes out, we'll let you know what it's like.
We will indeed. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up next, dude?
So other news, well, this is interesting actually. The Radio Times, they're doing quite a lot of little Doctor Who nuggets recently, and I like that. Just keeping it, in the public eye while it's off our screens, aren't they?
Yeah.
And they've done a ranking of the opening titles. Interesting. I'd forgotten actually that we'd had so many different titles. But when you look back at it, we've had loads, haven't we?
It's been 14.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, I know. I've always had my favourite. As soon as I saw this headline, I know straight away. Unlike my favourite Doctor, which I can never really decide on. I always say 4, but I can never really decide.
I think you mentioned your favourite intro in one of your videos.
I did. It was on my Q&A. Someone asked me what my favourite intro was, and I.
That's right. Is it still the same?
Yes, it is. It never changes because there is something about it's the third Doctor intro, but it's the second version, and more people associate it with the Tom Baker era because that's kind of what they kind of chopped and changed it and turned into the Tom Baker era. But the latter John Pertwee era had this sort of swirly effect at the start, like these stars and then a silhouette of him, and then it went into what you might think of as the sort of Tom Baker tunnel effect, and that's the intro I love best. And yeah, am I right saying latter version? The later? Never sure if I'm right saying that. But it was the sort of later Pertwee episodes used it. Yeah, that's my favourite. What about you? Have you had a look through these?
Yeah, it's I find it tough to rank these in terms of title sequences purely because I do like a few of them. Yeah. And it's really hard to say. And also you get the whole thing, you're torn between, the newer Who and the classic Who. But I will say that I do share your opinion with the third Doctor. I really like the stars at the beginning, that
swirly effect.
Yeah, it does look very cool. But then I've also got it's not just the audio for me. I've got a soft spot for, and I know a lot of people are going to kill me for this, but I've got a soft spot for the series 4, series 3 or 4 from Newer Who, the Tennant one.
Oh, the Tennant one, yeah, which is later.
Yeah, which is why I kind of chose that a remixed version or a redone version of that for our intro and outro. Because it's got a really cool modern feel to it, but it's not. They haven't. Murray Gold didn't mess with it too much. He's just kind of got this nice bass line to it, and there's more stuff going on. So I really like that. But yeah, I do really like the third Doctor sequence, and I also like the first. The first is good.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. I love actually on the pilot. of the first episode, they have this crash at the start of the music, and they got rid of it for the actual transmitted version. But have you ever heard that?
Mm-hmm.
It's only just that.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I really wish I'd kept that. But just before we say what came last in this list and what came first, who's voted for this? Like, where's this come from?
This was just a one of. It wasn't like a public vote or anything like that. Not that,
that explains a lot then, because I'm looking at the list now and I don't agree with hardly any of it.
No, I think it was just So somebody just has ranked them. You know, a guy called Hugh Fullerton. I hope I'm saying that right. Hugh Fullerton has just ranked them himself. This is his own article for the Times, Radio Times. So it wasn't a public vote or anything.
So, well, at last place, he's put the Seventh Doctor intro.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with that. I quite like the Seventh Doctor intro, to be honest with you. So I wouldn't have put it last. I don't know what I would put last, actually. Possibly the Eighth Doctor one. That's a bit boring, isn't it? The Eighth Doctor one. Can't really remember it.
Yeah, it's the it's like a very because I really really like the music to the movie, but the intro music was a bit lackluster for me. I probably wouldn't have put it. That came in at 9th place, didn't it? Middle of the road, sort of. So
is this judged overall? It's not just like the graphic; it's the music and the graphics together that they're judging on. It's the overall package.
I think so, yeah. But the intro anyway to the movie, once the music kicks in, is nothing amazing, is it? It's not spectacular.
No. So it's gone. So we've got 7th at last. Then they've gone 6th, 11th, 4th, 5th, 8th, 3rd at 8. That's the one I like, isn't it? 3rd, 2nd is at 8th. What have we got after that? You'll have to tell me.
Yeah, then we've got the Third Doctor again. So this was weird. So in 8th place, we had the Third Doctor second sequence. And then in 7th place, we had the Third Doctor first sequence.
Right.
And then in 6th place, we had the 11th Doctor first sequence. At 5, we had the 4th Doctor first sequence. At number 4, we had the Second Doctor. At number 3, we had 9 and 10. At number 2, we had the 12th Doctor. So from last year to present. And then in first place, we had the First Doctor, 1963 to 7.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think it's iconic. I have no problem with that being number 1. I have a little bit of a problem with 12 being second because, yeah, it's a nice enough intro, but it's not. I wouldn't put it in anywhere near my favourite. I mean, the Peter Davison, or actually even the 4th Doctor end series, and then the Peter Davison. I love that intro. I think that's classic. I'm really surprised the fourth Doctor intro is probably one of the most iconic, isn't it? With the tunnel effect, I would have thought.
Well, that was 5th place.
Yeah, that should be higher.
Yeah, but I'm not really sure on. The ordering of this is a bit. I think we could all argue about this for many hours, but but the First Doctor, I do like the rawness to it and the and the kind of experimental nature that the radiophonic workshop, that all comes through. It's got that they haven't edited out the hiss or anything like that. It's all quite raw and it's got a real coolness to it. But I would have probably put that maybe in 3rd place or something. The 4th Doctor should have been up higher.
Oh, definitely.
And the Third Doctor one, yeah.
It's the sort of chat you'd quite like to have, a convention in the sort of hotel bar, isn't it? Maybe we'll do that when we go to Day of the Doctors. We'll get everyone's list of favourite intros.
Yes, let's cause a fight the night before the conference, the convention. Sorry, that'll do.
Oh, that'd be nice. Yeah, having our photos taken the next day with Peter Davison, and there we are with a black eye, fat lip.
Yeah, and we'll be like, "This is your fault, mate, because somebody voted for your intro."
Yeah, that's right. We were sticking up for your intro. Then you start having a fight with Peter Davison. Oh.
You'll probably lose anyway.
I hope the people at the hotel aren't listening to this.
Yeah, close the bar.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, mind you, it's so expensive in that bar. We probably can't even afford to get getting intoxicated. So
yeah, true. Yeah, you said it was a bit
it's a bit pricey. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on to there's a convention coming up that I hadn't even heard of before, and it's quite local. Those of you down in the southeast or the south, whichever you want to call it, there's the Bedford Who Charity Con, which is taking place on the
April.
April the, where are we? I've lost my date. The April the
11th, is it?
11th?
Saturday the 11th, I believe.
Yeah. And so these guys, they're doing it all for charity, which is why I wanted to mention it on the podcast, because that's always a cool thing. You see a lot of these conventions where the price that they pay for entry or photos and stuff like that, it does go towards, the guests appearing and the cost of the venue, all that sort of stuff. So, I get that. But this particular one, 100% of all of the profits go to the local food bank, which is a cool thing.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't realise the whole 100% of it. That's really good, actually.
Yeah, all profit, everything goes to that. So
some good people appearing as well, isn't there? I'm just looking at the list. I mean, it's a good little lineup as well of celebrities.
Yeah, if you're into your classic peeps, Nicola Bryan, Sophie Aldred, Anika Wills, Terry Malloy, John Leeson.
Yeah.
Paul,
and our old mate Paul Cornell. I've just seen he's going to be there.
Yeah. And
Mike Tucker, the effects guy. He's a nice guy, actually, Mike Tucker.
Yeah. And Elisa Burke, who's the choreographer for Doctor Who. Now, you might think, there isn't much dancing going on in Doctor Who, but...
I did think that.
Yeah, but she basically does, whenever they hire actors to play aliens, she basically goes through to how they should walk and act and all that kind of stuff as an alien. So she doesn't do any dance moves, but she choreographs how their movements should come across and stuff like that.
Alien choreography.
Alien, yeah, that's a cool job title. TV? That's a cool job title,
isn't it? What do you do? I'm an alien choreographer.
Yeah, so that is cool, yeah. So Bedford Who Charity Con, if you're down this way, just go over to bedfordwhocharitycon.co.uk and I'll put a link to that as well afterwards. And if you're into your classic beeps and you want a cool day hanging out with fellow Who fans, then go do that.
Yeah, so it's cool. I mean, what happens if you walk like an alien anyway, like I do? Maybe she could straighten me up. Can she do reverse alien choreography? I'll have to ask her.
Oh, so you start walking more like a
normal person, yeah, like a human, yeah, be handy. I was just looking actually. I mean, there's some, it's good guests. Nicola Bryan, she's nice. Sophie Aldred, they're all really good people actually. So yeah, if you can get along to it, it's for a worthy cause. Yeah, definitely worth the trip round.
Indeedy.
Yeah.
Go do that.
So what else have we got in the news? I think there was one other thing, wasn't there? Yes, big news from Big Finish. Gosh, how could I forget about this? The Unit spin-off. This is quite exciting because I think this is the first time anything from the new series has really been licensed, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
So tell us a bit more about this, Gary, because I can't get the link open.
Yeah. So so Big Finish, they're on a roll. So
they are.
Last week they announced the Colin Baker regeneration story, which is huge, and now they've released information that they're going to release a new story of the Revive series for Doctor Who. So this is the new Unit stuff. So and this is going to star Gemma Redgrave.
Yeah.
Great. So so she's actually been in the show, hasn't she, as the Brigadier's daughter.
Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart, yeah.
And so she heads up Unit in the newer Doctor Who. She featured quite heavily in The Day of the Doctor, didn't she?
That's right. And I don't know if this is the finished artwork, but if it is, I mean, don't you think the artwork for this looks really, really good?
It looks awesome.
It really does. I mean, it's really, really striking bit of artwork.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who's done it. And obviously you've got Kate Lethbridge Stewart, is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. Yep. Prominently in the front. And it's, I mean, there's still details to be announced. We don't know who else is going to be in it. I don't know. Do you think Osgood will appear in it?
I think she should do.
Yeah.
I really do, because I don't think, I know there was a lot of debate about this from when she was supposedly killed, but I don't think we've seen the last of her, and I think she's a really good character. So even, the Big Finish stuff doesn't really follow the timeline of the show anyway, does it? So
I wouldn't have thought so, no.
So I think they could quite easily include her in this. She was quite a cool character, and she was well received.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be good. I mean, as I say, it does say more cast members to be announced, and there's on the cover we can see the Autons as well, and we've got these sort of tentacles as well, which is very much like spearheading Earth from space, isn't it? Those sort of tentacles. So that's really exciting as well that we're getting an Auton story with Unit with Kate Lethbridge-Stewart. So that's this sounds really exciting. When's it actually due out? Is it November?
It's due out in November, and it's going to be a box set. So it will be quite a meaty story by the sound of it. And so out in November, and then there will be a further 3 additional box sets that will be available at 6 monthly intervals. So we've basically got these for the next couple of years.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So that's
Which
awesome.
is good. It's good because, I mean, obviously these box sets, they're not cheap. I don't know. They're normally cheaper to pre-order.
They are,
but it's quite good when they sort of space them out a little bit. So, and also because a lot of people, including myself, that buy Big Finish, and you're probably saying, Gary, is that you tend to get a backlog of stories quite quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So you sort of need them spaced out a bit, I think, sometimes, especially a box set, to actually get round to listening to them, because I've still got loads of Big Finish that are sat there waiting to be listened to. And I love Big Finish. I just can't get enough of it.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I've still got... I started listening to the anniversary one that they brought
Light
out.
at the End.
Yeah, I've started listening to it twice now from the beginning, and I've stopped like 10 minutes in because I've had to go and do something. I still need to listen to it. Plus I've got... they did a huge sale for the anniversary where they you could order... just the MP3 download for like £2 or £3 or something. So I went on a bit of a spree. So I think I've got like 4. I think I've got 4 backed up, ready to listen to. So, yeah.
Light at the End's great, actually. Yeah, when you do get around to finishing it, a really, really sort of enjoyable little anniversary gift from Big Finish that was. Yeah. I've just got the Gareth Roberts set, actually, which is the same as you. It's just sat there needed to be listened to, and I can't wait to get into that, actually. That's with Tom Baker and Lila Ward and lots of other people as well. John Leeson, our old friend, he's on there. It's in the same sort of style in that sort of book thing. Yeah, so I'm really, really looking forward to getting into that. So
I'm going to get that, I think, because I really wanted that, and you just reminded me. So more money.
Oh, I know.
Bloody hell. The BBC, if you guys ever complain that you've got no money, I'm going to go freaking mad.
Yeah. Where does it all go?
Where does it all go?
Where is this big BBC fat cat? I wouldn't mind a slice of it. But yeah, it's very exciting. Really looking forward to this.
It's going to be cool.
Yeah, and is it the start of... That's the thing. Is it the start of more... because a lot of people have been crying out for Big Finish to have license for the new series as well. Yeah. I don't know if we necessarily how much we need, because obviously we don't want it to conflict with it. But it's nice that we're getting things like this that tie in with it. Do you know what I mean? So
it's cool.
Very, very cool.
Very cool indeed. Yeah. So November, pre-order up soon, I guess.
That's it. Treat yourself to it for the 52nd anniversary.
The 52nd.
Yeah, that's hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it 52? Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll be the 52 this year. Gosh, where's it all going?
The 10th of the 10th anniversary of the revival and the 52nd.
That's it. So you can buy it with guilt free. You can, if anyone says, you shouldn't be spending money, just say, hey, it's for the 10th anniversary and the 52nd.
And the 52nd.
And that will silence any critics.
Indeed.
Yeah. So cool news there, mate. Lots of good stuff.
Lots and lots of good stuff. I think we are ready. We are ready. What are we doing this week, buddy?
So this week, the Ninth Doctor story. Now, is this the first Ninth Doctor we've reviewed? I was going to say we've reviewed together, but have you reviewed any Ninth Doctor yet?
I did. I did Rose.
Oh, you did Rose, yeah.
Long time ago, in my very early episodes. Me just nervously, randomly waffling to myself.
Well, I was listening before I jumped on board. I used to listen, but it's the first. Obviously, the Ninth Doctor doesn't have such a back catalogue of stories for us to delve into, so we do have to space him out a bit in our reviews. But it's quite nice to do a Ninth Doctor story at last. And this week it's the Unquiet Dead.
I think this is my dance.
It's a prank. Must be. We're under some mesmeric influence.
No, we're not. The dead are walking. Hi.
Hi. Who's your friend?
Charles Dickens.
Okay.
My name's the Doctor. Who are you then? What do you want?
Failing, open the rift, we're dying. Trapped in this form, cannot sustain. Help us.
Creepy.
Yeah, it's very
Creepy stuff.
the Gelf there. So this is yes, was this the third episode in the revival series or the fourth? I always get confused. Third, isn't it?
The third, yeah.
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 And bizarrely, it's set on Christmas, isn't it? It's they arrive in Cardiff on Christmas 1869.
1869, Christmas Eve, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not a Christmas special, but it just happens to be at Christmas, which I'd completely forgotten about, actually.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you've got all the snow setting, and visually it looks quite good, actually. You know, the locations and that they've made it look quite nice, haven't they? When the TARDIS lands and all that.
Yeah, you didn't really see too much of because at first didn't they plan to land in London? Was that right or somewhere? But the Doctor kind of got his dates wrong, didn't he? Because ended up in he was meant to be 1860 somewhere, and then he tells her that it's actually 1869 and we're not in somewhere, we're in, that's it, yeah. He wanted to go to Nepal.
Oh, that's
in
it,
1860. Yeah. He's like, actually we're in 1869 and we're in Cardiff.
That's right. She's like, what?
She's like, yeah, she's a bit like, unimpressed. But yeah, so it is a Christmas one. Well, it's not a Christmas story, but it's at a Christmas time, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's as about as Christmassy as it gets. I mean, otherwise it's not really, you wouldn't even know it's set at Christmas, which is good, really, because otherwise that would have been a bit distracting. And it's written by Mark Gatiss or Gattis. How do you say it?
Mark Gattis.
Gattis. I wonder if he gets really annoyed with that, or if he's just so used to it, he's just like, answer to anything. But yeah, Mark Gatiss. And I'd forgotten, actually, because it's been a while since I watched this one. But it stars Eve Miles as Gwen. Obviously, as we know, Gwen in Torchwood as well.
She gets about a bit.
Does she?
I mean that kindly, from an actor standpoint. But yeah, she's.
Well, I forgot she was called Gwen as well, because that's the other thing. I thought she got a different name in this, so she's still Gwen in this.
Yes, she's still Gwen. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she,
what were you going to say? She's in something else as well?
Yeah, she's in Broadchurch at the moment with David Tennant, and there's a guy, isn't there, who was in Broadchurch is just littered with people from Doctor Who.
It is actually. Yeah. I mean, I'm probably one of the very few that hasn't really been watching it, but I have noticed, even when I've been flicking through, it is a bit like it has got loads of people from Doctor Who in it. Yeah.
So, but she's quite cool though.
She's good in this, I have to say. I mean, I really like Eve Miles anyway. I think she's a good actress or actor. Not I'd say actress anymore, are you?
No.
But I think she's really good, and I think she works really well in the story. Actually, surprised I forgot she was in it.
Yeah, I did. I completely forgot, and when I saw her, I was like, "Oh yeah," you know, one of those moments. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I was the same. I was like, "Oh, of course, yeah." As soon as I saw it, it all came back to me. But
yeah,
I've probably only watched this one once or twice, I think. Certainly I haven't watched it for a long time. It's not one that sticks in my mind as being a favourite or one that I, sort of go to put on a Sunday afternoon or anything. So I was sort of thinking, is it not a good one? Why am I not really into this one? My opinion sort of, well, we'll go through it, but it hasn't really changed much on it. I mean, just to sort of set the story, they land here in Cardiff and they meet Charles Dickens, which is a really nice little touch. I like it when we get to me.
Yeah.
And played by Simon Callow, who I don't know about you, but I think he gives a really good performance, actually. I like him as Charles Dickens.
He is cool, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought he was good. And then there's these sort of gas creatures invading bodies, isn't it? And sort of taking over the dead.
Yeah, they kind of spoof the Doctor into thinking, don't they, that they're trapped souls, the last of their kind. And I think he takes pity on them a little bit, seeing as he's the last of his kind. And they even we'll come on to it a little bit later, but they reference the Time War, don't they? Which is their reasoning for their destruction almost. But
actually, that was one of my notes. I was surprised how much this ties in with other things, actually, because the Time War's mentioned. What else? There's a couple of little bits. That tie in with other stories. So the Time War and Gwen obviously gets mentioned, although not till later on in a different story. They do sort of tie in with the fact that she looks like Gwen from Torchwood in the same name. And also the rift as well, they mention, which again ties in with Torchwood. So I'd forgotten about all these little bits that are in there, which is quite nice actually. And particularly the Time War, that completely forgotten about that. And I like that bit.
That was cool actually.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So so the actual story itself then. So as you said, these gas-based beings, I guess, called the Gelf. They kind of they get around through the gas pipes in houses and stuff. And Gwyn is kind of like this psychic link, isn't she? Between
that's it.
Well, it's not really. I think from people like the Charles Dickens character in the show and some other people, from their point of view, it probably does look very spiritual and the whole psychic medium point of view. But in actual fact, she's just really more of a her psychic ability, quote unquote, is really just to open a portal, isn't it, to their side of the universe.
Yeah, is it something to do with she was born in the house that was on the rift or something?
That's right. Yeah.
So that's why she's sort of got this this sort of psychicness. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So she played a slightly bigger part as well than what I remembered. I only remembered the Doctor and Rose kind of legging around after dead people, because like you, I'd only seen it once or twice quite a while ago, and but she played a slightly bigger part than I remember, and she was quite fundamental in the end of the story. She's the one that kind of saves the day, really.
That's right.
And, I didn't remember that for some reason. I just didn't remember her being so pivotal
to the actual story. Yeah. I'll tell you, there's one of the nicest scenes in this, I think, because it's set in 1869. So she's quite sort of it's a totally different time, obviously. And there's a lovely scene where just her and Rose are chatting, and you can sort of see the difference between a modern day, because they're supposed to be sort of similar age, I assume, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
Yeah, and she's quite shocked by, Rose's sort of frankness. And have you got a boyfriend? And she's like, Mom, she's really shocked. And it's a very nice showing the different how things have changed over the years. And I think both of them act that scene really well. It's quite a short little scene, isn't it? But,
it's cool though.
But it's really, really nice. And I love it. And then she sort of realises that she lets something slip, doesn't she, Gwen? She starts saying something about Rose's dad, and Rose is like, how do you know about my dad?
That's right.
And then that sort of reveals that she's got this psychic link, that she's seen it in Rose's head. And it's a really nice little quiet scene, that, and really well acted. I liked that bit.
I had that in my notes, actually, that in this episode there was 2 or 3 really, really good little scenes where nothing happens in terms of action or anything crazy going on, but there's just a few really nice little scenes, and that's one of them I was going to mention, actually, because it's really cool how they're just having like a girly little catch up, and then it very suddenly turns very not sinister, but the vibe just changes quite quickly, where Rose kind of cottons on that there's something about her, because she didn't tell her about her dad. She didn't know anything, so she obviously knows that she's got this psychic power. But and then when she goes on, and then she ends it with, she says something like "bad wolf," like "big bad wolf."
Oh,
or something.
That's right, the big bad wolf. Yeah.
And then you immediately think, "Wow, this is like you said earlier. This actually links quite a lot to some other stuff throughout the first series."
Yeah, and it's what's good about it actually is it's not jarring, isn't it? So it's not too in your face, like you know what I mean. It's just little references that if you pick up on them, great. If you don't, it doesn't make any difference. And I like that. And a lot of Mark Gatiss scripts do this, don't they? They have like you said, quite little quiet scenes, and then a bit of an action scene, and then a quiet sort of. It's his style is very much like that, and some of it works. I mean, I think that particular scene works really well. There's a couple of bits where it slows down, and I found myself getting a little bit. Not padded, but it wasn't too engaging at times.
Right.
If you know what I mean. But overall, not too bad, this one.
Yeah, and I thought that I wasn't really taken too much with the Gelf. I'll be honest, I didn't really
pity the Gelf.
Yeah, pity the Gelf. I think they were. I think they could have been written to do a little bit more than they were, because you didn't really, with the exception of the old Doris who walks around at the beginning and ends up in the theatre. Oh yeah, you don't really see them do much with the possessed bodies, do you? They don't really do too much.
No, that's right.
Other than that bit right at the beginning. And I must admit, though, I did find it a little bit scary at the beginning, because there's a bit where when they're in the Undertaker's house and she suddenly wakes up and she starts having a pop at the Undertaker guy. I think, what's his name?
Mr. Steed or Sneed.
Sneed, that's it.
Sneed,
yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and she kind of knocks him out of the way and she's out in the street. And there's a bit where she's out in the snow and the camera's, panned out quite far. And then she's walking faster and faster towards the camera and she's got this weird kind of scream.
Oh, it's
from
a
her
horrible
throat.
scream, yeah.
And then she gets closer and her face goes right up to the camera. And I think this is one of the few times where my 7-year-old did actually crap his pants. I had to turn it off.
Yeah, it is.
Right,
It's well directed and it is quite horrific. It's just before the opening credits kick in, isn't it? You sort of zoom into her mouth, I think, almost as she's screaming, and
that's right.
It's quite a horrific little intro. I mean, it would have gone out about 7 o'clock, I guess.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, it's quite a shocking, like you said, for a younger audience, especially.
Yeah, but it's hard it's not hard, but it's as a parent, it's like, I just wanted to say to him, like, "Oh, grow up, just this is, be a man. This is Doctor Who. You have to watch it." But at the same time, I could see him kind of like, edging back, and he was covering his face with his hands. So,
Did he watch the rest?
No, he didn't come down to watch the rest.
It?
Yeah,
right, okay, because that probably is the scariest bit. Apart from, at the ending when they're locked in that little underground cage, where it's quite scary. But that is probably the most horrific bit, isn't it?
Yeah. But he's a scaredy pants, so
right.
he went off. But no, but yeah. So I did find it a little bit creepy, a little bit scary, but that shows how well that bit was written and how well it was done. And that bit you said at the end, where story wise, how we get to that point is they realise that in order to, because they reveal themselves, don't they? Because the Doctor takes pity on them and he gets Gwen to go and open up the rift so that he can send them through, because Rose is really opposed to it. She's like, you can't have these, you can't have the Gelth running around in dead people's bodies. It's not ethically right. These people were once living souls and they need respect and
the Doctor's just like, well, think of it as recycling.
Yeah,
that's his sort of view, isn't it? He's like, well, we've got a chance to save an entire race here by using your dead.
That's it,
so
exactly. Yeah.
In his mind, it's sort of black and white.
Yeah.
But also, I think Rose doesn't want Gwen to be used as the pawn to do it as well.
Yeah.
So she's, there's a good bit of conflict there between the Doctor and Rose, and for a good reason. Do you know what I mean? It's not just sort of not just like an argument for the sake of drama. There's actually a good sort of plot point there showing the difference in opinion, and also it puts you in the middle of it as a viewer, doesn't it? Because you're sort of thinking, well, what would I do then? So I've got a race here that I could save by using dead people. I probably wouldn't do it, but it does make you sort of think, well, because ultimately you've got to, if you don't let them use the dead bodies, you're killing a race of beings.
Exactly.
So it's quite good. It's quite good.
Yeah.
Story, I think, in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and he convinces Gwen to do it, doesn't she? And then, as soon as she started it, the Gelth, they, reveal themselves to be like, these kind of menacing beings who had nothing. They're not in danger at all. They just want to, inhabit the bodies and kind of take over, I guess. But
yeah, which of course we could see coming a mile off.
Of course, yeah.
But there's not really anything else that could have happened. Is you know from the word go that they're going to obviously turn out to be bad. Otherwise, there's no tension or story there. I think.
Well, yeah, you're right. It's you wouldn't expect it to be a case of the Gelth are on the verge of extinction. So Gwen helps them through. They inhabit some bodies. Happily ever after. Bye bye. It wouldn't be like that, would it? Yeah,
they don't sit down and have a cup of tea afterwards and say, "Oh, thanks for that." And, you know. But what? The Gelth. Like I said, we don't find out much about them visually. I guess it's of the time that it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look good. It's just it works for the story in terms of the visual, doesn't it?
I tell you what though. When I started watching this, it did bring a little smile to my face when I first started watching it. Not because of the story or anything like that, but just this first series of the newer Doctor Who. There's just something about it that's just very, very cool.
I think you can see that they're really trying hard. Like you can see that they wanted it to be a success. There's a lot of effort in it, isn't there?
Yes, yeah, and it's I don't know, just the opening title. It's very, compared to how it's been for the last few years, where it's advanced quite a lot, in terms of graphics, and the music's a lot more modern, I guess, and up to date. This had a very simple feel to it, and even in the closing titles, when the old Doctor Who logo in that kind of orange, very small orange oval and stuff. That looks very basic. It's got like a weird black outline to it, and it's almost getting to that stage now where it's, I guess you could view it as some of the classic Who stuff, the McCoy era, and that sort of thing, where that amount of time has now gone past, where you're kind of starting to view it as more kind of retro TV, I guess, more towards that kind of vibe. I don't know if I'm making sense there, but
no, I know what you mean. So you're sort of seeing it for when it was, yeah.
And it's very cool. I mean, maybe it's maybe that is one of the very, very many ingredients that makes Doctor Who very good. It's just it just gets better with age. Maybe it's just that thing.
And I think I have a sort of a memory of this. Of I must have been out the night this aired, because I can remember. I was going to a gig at a small local place, and I can remember walking past like a kebab shop or something, and they had a TV. You could see the TV through the window, and I remember seeing these two guys just stood outside this kebab shop, absolutely fixated on the TV, and all I could see was the Gelf flying around, and I was thinking, oh, this is cool, Doctor Who's grabbing people again. And it's one of the things I associate with this episode is that I sort of, like you said, and this comes back to what you just said about the effort. I think they were really trying to get this show back on TV and popular, and they succeeded, obviously. But that little moment sort of made me realise that they were doing a good job.
Yes,
do you know what I mean? Because I thought these two guys, sat probably, I don't know what age it would have been, I can't remember, but probably in their sort of 20s or 30s, maybe, just sort of staring at the TV, really sort of, wow, what's this then? Yeah. Really sort of watching it. Obviously maybe they didn't have a TV at home, but but it was a nice thing to see somebody actually just fixated on Doctor Who, and probably maybe someone that hadn't sort of watched it up until that point. So,
right.
Yeah. So I think the effort paid off, and clearly
so.
It did, because it came back and bigger than ever, didn't it?
Indeed.
Yeah.
What did you think to the reference of the Time War then? You mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, it doesn't, as I say, it doesn't matter if you don't know, it wouldn't matter if you didn't know what it was all about, but it was good. I like the fact that was part of this story. And actually sort of overall, I like the actual storyline of this episode. Mm-hmm. And there's lots of good bits in it. There's loads, there's lots of good stuff in there. Simon Callow's good in it. Eve Miles is good in it. There's loads of great stuff. But there is something about the episode that I just find a bit unengaging, and I don't know what it is. I was thinking this yesterday. Yeah. It's just never quite hit the heights of, I think, what it could have done. Because I love the concept of it. These things that are hiding in the gas, and all that. Not hiding in the gas, but they use gas to sort of travel or survive or something, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a really nice idea. And I don't know, but there is something missing in this episode. And even yesterday, I can't put my finger on it. It just doesn't quite engage with me as much as I feel it should. Yeah,
I know exactly what you mean. And it's one of those episodes that it's perfectly cool to watch it from start to finish. And it's fairly enjoyable. And for me, it's one of those episodes where there were a few little key bits that I quite liked, like the conversation between Rose and Gwen, the reference to the Time War, and the Doctor's reaction to that. And the Charles Dickens character was quite cool. But they were all just little nuggets out of the episode, which was, I think, like you say, just a little bit unengaging. I think, I think it's one of those episodes where you don't turn it off because it's bad, and you don't purposely put it on, I guess, because you want to watch a really good Ninth Doctor episode. It's another one of those middle of the road.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. Despite all the great stuff in it, it just is a bit middle of the road, and it makes me wonder if they were still trying to find their feet in it a bit, because I don't know where this came in the sort of production block. I don't know where it was sort of made, whether it was quite early on, because obviously this is the first sort of series with Chris. People are still finding their feet, and I did feel that Chris wasn't quite on top form in this one.
Right.
Because I like Chris's Doctor, but he kind of, to me, seemed a little bit lost. He comes good at the end, actually, but he doesn't. I think there's some humour in this episode that really falls flat, and I don't think the humour works in this episode at all. There isn't too much of it, but there are some bits where they've sort of tried to throw in some lines, and particularly the ones delivered by the Doctor, that they just fall flat. Chris isn't particularly good when he's trying to do comical Doctor. He's much better when he's serious and angry or in charge. He's really, that's to me when he's at the top of his game. But I don't know, the first half of this episode, I found Chris, he's trying to be sort of bolshy and in charge, and I'm the Doctor, this is what we're doing, but it didn't quite work for me somehow. I think that might be because perhaps it was at the beginning of the recording block. He's still quite new in the role, trying to find his Doctor, if you like. And it's not bad, but it just, I don't know, he slightly irritated me, the Doctor, in this one for about the first half of the episode. He's a bit too cocky.
Yeah, and I think he kind of takes that, just to give you a comparison, he gives you that standpoint with Rose quite early on. This is only the third episode. And I think he tries to be strong and firm. And it doesn't really, I don't think he was intense enough. It doesn't really come off enough. Whereas if you think about the 11th hour, and towards the end of that, sorry, not the 11th hour, the Beast Below.
Oh, the Beast Below, yeah.
When he really has a go at Amy. Do you remember for making the decision and stuff like that towards the end? He really has a go at her, and you can tell that he means business, and he really delivers that quite strongly. And
that's
I think
right,
with Chris, it didn't really come off. I don't think he kind of nailed that intensity enough to kind of put Rose into a state of, oh my God, he means business. I'm lesson learnt sort of thing.
No, that's right. I do. I don't know. I think it just seems to me that he hasn't quite settled into the role in this particular episode. He's still very good in it, and as I say, at the end, he's very good. But I don't know. He's not quite at the top of his game as the Doctor in this one for me. And as I say, it could be down to the writing. They do sort of try and give him some quirky lines, but they just don't fit in with the sort of seriousness and horror of the actual episode. They feel a bit clunky. A lot of the lines in this. Yeah. I did notice he says "shut up" as well. Did you notice that? He goes "shut up"
to Charles.
To Charles.
Yeah,
but he does apologise later.
Yeah.
And of course, "shut up" has become this really annoying sort of. Well, I'm not even going to call it a catchphrase. But the 12th Doctor and Rose have been saying it. 12th Doctor and not Rose, Jenna. Clara.
Yeah.
Have been saying it a lot in the new series, and it's so infuriating. Like every time they say it, it grinds my teeth. But I did notice that the Doctor does say it in this one, which,
he does.
Of course, is very unintentionally, but does sort of tie in with the whole "shut up" thing. I hope they drop that. I hate this "shut up" catchphrase thing, don't you?
It's starting to go a little bit over to the overused side of the fence now.
Clara says it within 2 minutes of the Christmas special, and I was like, I nearly switched off there. And then, no, I didn't. Of course, I'd never switch it off. But no, they've got to drop that. But yeah, I just noticed he did say it in this.
Yeah. So
to Charles Dickens.
Yeah. Review time.
Yeah.
Reviews. Unless there's anything else you wanted to say.
No. Not. I think pretty much covered it.
Reviews. You can go first this week.
Yeah. Well, I think, as I say, I think just to sort of recap, really. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. I think performances are good. I think we've got a good cast. Eve Miles, Charles Dickens, Simon Callow, very good. Slightly underused, actually, isn't he, Simon Callow?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, he's not in it that much. Chris and Billy, I think Billy's good in it. Chris, not so much in this one, but still good. And as I say, I'm going to give it my rating of 6.5 out of 10. And the reason for that is because I think there's loads of good stuff in it, but there is something missing. It just doesn't engage me as much as it should.
Okay.
So, and actually, there is one other note I just want to mention, and this is another reason the episode comes down to a 6.5, is that obviously Gwen, when she lets the gas creatures through, does die, and there's about a 1 minute scene at the end where they're really mourning her and really upset about it. And then we cut to them walking to the TARDIS, which is supposedly 2 minutes later, and everyone's jolly, and Charles Dickens is laughing at everything, and everything's jolly. And I'm just thinking, hang on a minute, you know, people have just died, and you were 2 minutes ago you were upset about it. Now it's all forgotten, and it's a
Right.
very jolly ending, and it really didn't sit right with me. So I'm giving it a 6.5 out of 10.
6.5. Okay, that's fair enough. My review is a 6.
Oh wow, I expect you to go higher than me.
Yeah,
All right, okay.
yeah, 6. Because I think it's not quite low enough to be a 4 or a 5.
No.
But yeah, I think a 6 is a kind of middle of the road. Because for me, a 7 would be a good, enjoyable episode, you know, and an 8 would be like a really, really good. You know, a 9 is fantastic, and 10's, you know, perfect, no complaints. But you know, a 6, I think probably a lot of people might agree with this, that there are certain elements to this story which are very, very good, but it just didn't work together. And reading my notes here, I've only wrote, you know, sometimes I've got a whole page worth of notes, but on this I've only got a few. And what that points to is there's a couple of nice little scenes, and that really is it. You know, I kind of like the continuity thing where it references Bad Wolf and the Time War. You know, that's quite cool. And those little moments between the Doctor and Rose and Gwen, you know, they're quite cool. But there wasn't much else really to get me excited. I didn't turn it off because I wasn't enjoying it, but you know, I didn't turn it off thinking, wow, you know, that's why we watch Doctor Who. You know, it wasn't.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
know. So yeah, it just wasn't enough in it. The Gelth, they were a little bit underused. Charles Dickens was underused. The locations were very much underused. We only saw a house and a theatre and a street
right.
and a street. Effectively, that was it. And yeah, just the writing. I think it was just one of those times where, you know, the first few episodes in, people were very much still, you know, getting to grips with this thing, and there's a lot of pressure on them to do it well, and you can see the effort. You can see how much they wanted this to be good and stuff like that. So, but it was just a mediocre episode. Nothing terrible to complain about, but still nothing you can bump up the score with.
No, I think that's fair, and I think 6.5, I think is good.
Yeah.
It's a fair rating for it. What did our listeners think to it?
Our lovely listeners. Okay, so on Facebook, we had Stuart Stockwin.
Ah, hi Stuart.
This is funny. I quite like this one.
Oh, I always like. Is it Stuart? Is it Stuart that destroyed Paradise Towers?
It was.
Yeah,
Pretty sure.
Oh
yeah.
no, that was Robert, wasn't it?
No, it was Stuart.
No,
Oh.
sorry, no. Ignore me.
So he says, for me, this is the worst of Series 1. Ooh. I think that Dickens could have been in it more than he was. The Gelth were terrible. They were obvious CGI, and there was nothing in there for me. I would like to give it a 1 out of 10, but because there are other worse episodes, I'm going to give it 2 out of 10.
Oh,
So,
okay. I just picking up on what he says about CGI. I don't think it's too bad for the time. Actually, I don't think it's. It's not cringeworthy. I don't think it's that bad.
Well, we've seen worse in Series
8.
8. Let's
Yes,
put it
we
that
have.
way.
Yeah. Every time I think of CGI, I think of that awful shot of the TARDIS when Clara's trying to ring him at the start. Oh God. Anyway, moving on. I got Dean Jones here. Dean Jones. He says the best Mark Gatiss script by far. Creepy atmosphere. Simon Callow is brilliant as Charles Dickens. And being from Wales myself, it was amusing to see. I've almost gone into Terry Wogan there. Being from Wales myself, it was amusing to see the story set in Cardiff. Best Gatiss script. Well, actually, the storyline is good.
Yes.
So I'll sort of agree there. Best script, I don't know, because I'm not massively impressed with the Mark Gatiss stories. Again, they're always a bit middle of the road, apart from Night Terrors, which is just dreadful. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think, well, I don't agree that it's the best Mark Gatiss script. And yeah, his stories are normally okay. They're normally good, but there's something with his scripts that never push them up into the amazing category. They're always very good. I think,
he always gets a good story, doesn't he? But it doesn't actually seem to sort of ever sort of reach the heights. It's like it gets a good idea, but it never seems to sort of reach what it should somehow.
Do you know what my the best script for me, for Mark Gatiss?
That one with the worm. Can't remember what it's called.
An Adventure in Space and Time.
Oh, wow. Now, hang on. Yes, that is... Oh, it's one of my favourite things
ever. Yeah.
So no, you're right. You've redeemed Gatiss there. You're absolutely right, because that the writing in that was phenomenal.
Yeah. Although it's not a typical Doctor Who schedule show, that movie or short, whatever.
It's brilliant.
It's he really redeemed himself on that one.
Oh yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Kieran Knight. Fantastic. I'm sure he's done this in the vein of Chris Eccleston, because he started off with fantastic. P.S. became my favourite Ninth Doctor story on rewatch.
Oh really?
Which is probably an important part there on his rewatch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, I was wondering if a rewatch was going to up it, in my opinion, but it didn't. Robert Lithgow. I think Robert's the person that destroyed Paradise Towers.
Right,
Robert Lithgow. He goes, like most of Gattis's episodes, quite average. It's okay, but it doesn't inspire that much, apart from introducing new viewers to the concept of travelling into the past, which is a major problem with most Gattis episodes. Historical design over plot, but as I said, it's actually okay. So, just a bit of a meh.
Yeah. Who Addicts Reviews. Hello, guys.
Hi, guys.
For our first trip into the past in modern Who, I liked it. Not the best, but, and he says Rose was good, Gwyneth was great, and the Gelth were brilliant. It really showed off what modern Who could do. 6 out of 10. That was Matthew.
All right, okay, so he agrees with the score.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Harry Westergaard, he says, it's been ages since I've seen it, but I remember being relieved when it was over.
Wow. Okay.
Well, no, I wasn't. Yeah, it's not quite that bad, but it's not one you'd put on. It's not one I think, right, got the series one box set here of Eccleston. What shall I watch? For me, it's not one I would immediately go to.
Yeah, true. Lastly, on Facebook, Jeff Waddle.
Oh, yes.
He politely gave us the correct pronunciation of his surname, which is nice. He said it's Waddle, as in the football player, not Voddle.
Oh, right.
Yep. So Jeff Waddle, probably Gattis's. How the hell do you pronounce that? Probably Gattis's best script. Well, that or the Crimson Horror. I like.
That's the one I was trying to remember. Sorry.
Yeah, and he really likes the story.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
I've got one more. I've got Anthony Stone Street, who says best Gattis story to date. Great stuff. Not sure. Yeah.
Over on Twitter, Peter Adamson. His Twitter name is Pedro the Whovian. Very short one. Very overrated story. Not a good one.
Not a good one.
No.
I think we've literally just got one come in, actually. Like literally 2 seconds ago from Devin Baker.
Okay.
Did you see this? I think it's literally just come in. A live tweet.
Go.
To you. This is on your one. Great story. Gattis's best. Great characters, good atmosphere, great enemy. Gwyneth was a bit iffy as a character, and Rose was out of character because she was nice and not horrible. 8 out of 10. Devin's given that.
8 out of 10.
Devin, I'm not too sure. I mean, Gwyneth was a bit iffy. No, I thought Gwyneth was really good, I have to say. Was Rose out of character?
I think she was pretty much on form. She was quite vocal, quite strong.
Yeah. I thought she was all right.
Gwen was quite cool. So, really appreciate your comment, Devin. But, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's good to get in there. As I say, I literally just come in that one. There is one more from my old schoolmate here, Jace Howes. He says, definitely one of the best Ninth Doctor stories, of course, written by the fantastic Mark Gatiss. Gatiss. I mean, I agree. Mark Gatiss is fantastic. He doesn't write my favourite Doctor Who stories, I wouldn't have said. I wouldn't agree it's the best Ninth Doctor story, though. I think there's some great stories in the Ninth Doctor run, but for me, this isn't one of them.
No, I probably wouldn't say it's the best Ninth, but each to their own.
Yeah,
Jace, if that's your feelings, that's fair play.
Yeah. So thanks for all the comments. We've got some good ones there, but a bit of a mixed bag, isn't it? So I'm surprised how much some people do like it, but I'm glad they like it.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So the Unquiet Dead, 6 for me, 6.5 for you.
That's it.
I think we're going to wrap on that, mate.
Okay.
So, episode 29 is in the bag.
That's it. Pity the Gelf.
Pity the Gelf.
But don't, because they're evil.
Evil gas creatures.
Yeah.
AKA farts.
I was thinking that because there is a night. What's it? The Earth. With the farting aliens? What's that called?
Oh, is that that's the next episode, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Yeah.
On from this one.
What's it called?
What are they called? It's called the episode
Aliens of London.
Aliens of London, yeah, and it's
the end of the world. Yeah.
Oh man, what are they called? Oh Jesus.
Slovene.
The Slovene.
The Slovene, yeah.
Yes, the farting aliens.
My sister says I look like a Slovene.
Oh, what?
Yeah, she's kind of right.
What's their home planet called, mate? Give me that one.
Oh, it's not that one with the funny Rassicophocorylatoria. Well, I can't say it. No, that's not them, is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. It's.
Go on then, you say it.
Oh, I can't. I used to be able to roll it off the tongue. I used to be able to, but I can't. I haven't done it in ages.
Oh, we'll have to do a bit of Rassicophius practice.
Phalamatoris or
Phalamatoris, yeah.
Cox. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, thank you very much for joining us for episode 29. It's been very cool. Thank you again for all your comments. Please keep doing that because we love having the debate and and hearing everybody's opinions. It's very cool. Jump over to the website, bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk. You can see links there to Facebook and Twitter. So give us a like and a follow, and also jump over to iTunes. Give us a rating and a review. We've had a few of those recently. Very kind words. Thank you.
Yes, thanks to everyone that's left reviews on iTunes. I read them all yesterday and it was really, really nice. Thank you so much.
My name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And until next time, Alonzi!